WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton.
And I am Thabiti Mpinga.
Inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback,
A positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
And take us along with you. Feedback. And we're hot, and it's not so bad out there this morning. I was wondering if we were going to have snow for 2 days in a row, and we don't. It's not bad at all. Just want you to know that you are tuned in to Feedback, a positive image production by Hood Research. I'm Theo Broughton, co-founder of Hood Research, and my co-host is
Thabiti, and we welcome you to the program.
And we're so glad that you tuned in this morning, the 15th of November. I gotta say happy birthday to my granddaughter. Her birthday is today.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah. And you know, we have so many things going on around here. But I gotta say, good morning to our regular viewers. And, you know, there was somebody named David who called. Haven't heard from him in a long time. But good morning to Al and to Henry, Katrina, to Vera and Rosa and to Ron and all of you who tune in each week. Even though you don't always call in, I appreciate the fact that you tune in. And also Sylvia and Keith. But you know, you have somebody you want to give a shout out to.
I want to say happy Monday to Brother Professor Griggs, excellent teacher, Wayne County Community College, along with Jackie, Ruth Ann, Brother Shane, Brother Fred. Mm-hmm. Also, I want to give shouts out to Andrea. And as always, ask your friends, neighbors, co-workers, church members, your acquaintances to tune in. And you'll momentarily see the numbers to call in at the show and join us. And another thing I demonstrate all the time is have your pen and paper handy, because you never know what you may want to write down for future reference.
Right. Absolutely. You know, it's a few things I was thinking about over the past week and weekend. And one is how pitiful it is that the last president we had, now living in Florida, at a location that they said he could only use for 20 days, but he's still there. Go figure. In the meantime, he had gotten his shot, his vaccination. But he has been calling for rallies. Come on and rally with me. Thousands of people show up. Don't worry about wearing your mask. Just come on and rally with me. After which many of them get the virus, of course. Some of them die. It's interesting that he would kill his own voters. Go figure. But we have a caller on. Join us this morning.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Good morning from Chalmers, next door to Keith Hannon. This is caller. That was a tip to help you guys with technical difficulties one day when the phones were acting up.
Yes, last Monday.
Yes. I want to thank you all again for what you do. I try to tune in as often as I can.
Well,
when I get
you.
the morning, First thing I do is go to Detroit at see what's going on in my neighborhood.
Oh, well, thank you for tuning in. And your name, please?
Michael.
Michael, thank you so much.
Yeah, they call me Mechanic Mike and Jeff Chalmers. Last 30 years,
For the last 30 years, they've called you what?
Mechanic Mike. I'm an
Oh, my-
auto. So they call me Mechanic.
Auto mechanic?
Yes.
Oh.
Auto tech. You're auto tech now. It's no longer mechanic. You're an auto tech. You work on vehicles now. It's all electronic.
Oh,
You gotta
yeah.
have the right tools.
Oh,
And the-
right. Oh, yeah. And we need some more who can work on the new vehicles that are coming out. You're definitely right about that. You
that's when
know,
you got to update your services and your knowledge.
wow.
You got to stay on top of it.
Right. Did you hear recently that some vehicles are going to be sold without heated steering wheels, without heated seats and cooled seats, because the chips that are needed are boxed up in a crate in a boat, a ship somewhere? Did you hear about that?
Oh, yeah, I've heard about it. And you can't make bread without flour, you know? So you got to keep the supply chain rolling.
Right, right. And so they're going to sell the cars anyway without them. I thought, wow, that was interesting.
It'd be nice if they could upgrade them later.
Store is not going to stop from making money, trust me.
Right, right. Will they be able to add those chips back in later?
Sure, because most updates with vehicles now just involve plugging up a tool.
Okay. Wow. Is there something else you would like to share with us this morning?
Not today. Today is a little. I've got to go down to my mom today to take care of start the flood restoration.
Oh,
So this is
yeah.
the first flood restoration project that I'm getting into it 2-3 years.
Well, I certainly do hope that they come up with better solutions than they've had in the past. But it seems to be a part of what they call gentrification or Negro removal, and it keeps going on, especially on the east side, Jefferson Chalmers area.
Well, that's when my mom since 72, and when I replaced the washer and dryer this time, they elevated.
Oh, wow. And you know, they were telling those who were victims of that sewage backup and the flooding that they need to claim on their insurance and then worry about calling the water department. And then they brought FEMA in. But the residents in Grosse Pointe who had the similar experience didn't have any difficulty filing with FEMA.
Oh, wow. Well, that line was yesterday. So I think the day before yesterday, the deadline for all residents, if they hadn't initially applied for FEMA assistance to apply. Can you repeat the young man next to you's name? I can never pronounce his name.
The BT. Phonetically T.
Oh, that's easy. Okay, Thabiti.
The
Yes, sir.
BT.
That's me.
I thank you too.
Oh, you're welcome. I spell it phonetically for people who hopefully make it easier for them to remember, like THABEETEA.
Thabiti.
The BTS.
The
Okay.
BT. All right.
But I'm going to let somebody else get in. I just want to let you guys know that I'm always listening.
Well,
Actually, Theo, we were on 2 or 3 years ago, we went on a cruise. We were on a cruise together. We ate together.
the Black History cruise that we
No,
did?
this was a Tuskegee Airmen event.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, remember we were on the river.
Yes.
We were on the lake.
Oh, that was such a wonderful fundraiser for the Tuskegee Airmen, and
Yeah,
unfortunately they couldn't have it last year, because of the pandemic, But hopefully, if we ever get back to whatever used to be normal, they may be able to have it again.
Well, my catch-all phrase for most conversations these days is "This ain't a regular world right now."
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Always. Thank you all.
All right. Peace.
Okay.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Hey, it's me.
Oh, oh, you're sounding all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed this morning.
Hey,
What?
that last caller, leave his number with the research so we have reference to good mechanic.
Oh, okay. Mechanic Mike, you have to call back. Leave your number.
Yeah.
For service. Mechanic Mike. Call him Mechanic Mike.
Share that talent. We
You
got
wrote-
people that need people to like to support our own.
Right, absolutely. You're absolutely right. That's what we definitely want to do. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad y'all up there. Glad the phone's working. I'll call.
Yes.
It took me a while to say your name, too.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
So I didn't have much to say. Just gonna give that a shout out this morning, and I will listen and call back if I sign in.
You certainly can. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
And one thing I want to mention, since Mike did mention that he was a mechanic, right now there's an extreme shortage of skilled trades people. And if you go to mustcareers.org, and I'm saying all skilled trades, sheet metal, electrical, plumbing, carpentry, brick mason,
Wow.
you can apply to get into an apprenticeship. And I always share with people, well, not always, but I've shared with people that I am a retired skilled trades person, and it's one of the best things you can get into. One of the beautiful things about it now, a lot of times we push academics and we want people to, get college degrees and then, look to get off into the white collar world more or less. But there's a lot of money to be made in skilled trades. So again, and I'll repeat this throughout the show, the site is MUST, Must Careers, CAREERS.org. If you go to that site, you can hopefully find a trade that you'll be interested in. But one thing about it, if you learn how to use your hands, you'll be able to feed yourself for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. That's great. We have to. I'm glad you're going to continue to insert that while we're on the air, because there may be some people all of a sudden, oh, he said have pen and paper handy. I don't have pen and paper. Oh, let me get my pen and paper. Okay.
Yeah, and it's important because now, as Theo has promoted, and we know Brother Keith Hines and Beverly Kendall Walker have spoke about how our youth were able to go to the aircraft.
Benjamin Davis.
Yeah, help me out, Theo. Thank you.
Benjamin Davis Aerospace.
And get out of school and make large amounts of money. The same thing can be done once you completed an apprenticeship. And as opposed to going to college where you are saddled with some sort of student debt that can go into tens of thousands and even over 100,000, you go to an apprenticeship, they train you while you're working. So it's on-the-job training, and you can make $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 without a problem, which is in many cases far more than what you would make if you had that college degree, which you're still paying back that student loan. So again, I encourage you to, and some of us, like Brother Mike, are good with their hands, and we need these type of skills. We absolutely have to have them. If you have a home, then you need a plumber, an electrician, a carpenter, etc., brick mason. And the work, I guess as the scripture says, the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few. So we need a few more of you to get into that. So again, that's mustcareers.org.
That's good. Even when you live in an apartment, the apartment managers and owners have to hire people with skilled trades as well. So it is even a second profession for some, and some use their skilled trades profession to finance a college, degree, shall we say. So you can blend it or not, but definitely they're the kind of services that you're going to need, So I like to see people go through life without having an electrician, without having a plumber, without having a carpenter. And there are many things that they'll have to come across, and it's a good idea to find out about it as soon as possible. And I am so disappointed that the public school has eliminated some of the options in school where the students would have an opportunity to say, oh, wow, I'm glad I took this class. I think I would like to do this. And they go on further and, as you were saying, become an apprentice.
And I would add, too, that you can have a GED or high school diploma and become a part of that. And we're going to take this next caller, but I want to additionally add that you can become an independent contractor yourself. And with the building that's going on in Detroit, if you end up as a building contractor, you can submit bids for different projects that are going on. I think this is very essential. I've worked for at least 4 or 5 through my local union, but I work for at least 4 or 5 black independent electrical contractors, and it just did me well just to see these brothers flourishing and to be a part of what was going to make them successful. So again, you can get into it not only to work for someone, but to work for yourself as an independent contractor, and you can make honestly hundreds of thousands of dollars. So keep those figures in your mind. And we'll go to our caller.
Sure.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Hello.
I had to call back. My son's friend, he grew up with 2 young men when we moved into our townhouse. They grew up together. They had a mentor named Laura Baker. And that's all he did was encourage young men at risk to take advantage of that program. But this particular young man, his GPA was 2.0, barely makes it in high school, and he just graduated. And he has journeyman as an electrician right now through that. And he was already worth over 40,000, making over 40,000 while he was in the program. So now he has journeyman, like you said, to be he's gonna be worth 70,000 to 90,000.
Yes.
Wow. And his skill interest is what now?
He's an electrician now.
And that,
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So proud of the young man and watch him grow up and play, and they're still best friends today.
Oh, wow.
All right, I'll hang up and listen.
I see. Those are the kind of stories that are very encouraging.
Yes.
And yesterday I interviewed Ricardo Moore, police commissioner-elect. He takes his seat in January. And he was sharing that his focus is going to be on literacy and domestic violence. And those are 2 areas that need a lot of attention. Because as the public school was depleted of many of the subjects, and especially in the area of vocational training, our young people didn't have those options. They didn't know whether they liked it or not because they were never introduced to it. And he was saying, Ricardo Moore was saying that he's going to do all that he can to influence and to help with the literacy issue that we have here. I believe that reading is the top most important thing a person can do. When they learn to read, they can learn anything. You know, as long as you are illiterate, people can trick you. You know, they can make you believe all kind of things that are not healthy for you or beneficial for you.
You know, I have to just give a kudos to that because I was at the Redford Library recently. As a matter of fact, this past Saturday, a guest that we had on here, Stacy Cartledge, had her book signing there. But one of the things that was really important to me is that libraries sell books, used books. And in this particular case, they had like 4 or 5 shelves of books, and they were just giving them away. You could just take what you wanted. I felt a little uncomfortable because I had picked out 9 books, but I told the librarian, I said, well, if this is too many, I've got 5 that I definitely want and 4 that I can, take or leave. And she said, look, just take them, So I agree with the literacy thing because one of the things that's always been important to me is that I said that, and it's still said, you go from, let's say, your English class to your social studies to your government, civics, or whatever classes you take. If you haven't mastered the language, then every time you go into one of these particular classes, they all have their own particular terminology. If you're not able to understand that terminology, then you're not going to be able to grasp whatever it is they're trying to teach you. On top of that, literacy helps in terms of self-esteem. When you cannot read and even further comprehend, that really is a detriment to your self-esteem, and people have shied away from it. Now, I don't know if we necessarily are at that 47% literacy rate. It seems like it never changes. I know something changes. But just the same, we need to be literate, because when you go to the various classes, this helps you in terms of grasping what is being said. And many times people, and adults as well, don't want to raise their hands when they don't understand something because they feel uncomfortable about it. That's, again, self-esteem and self-confidence. So I always feel like if you can master that, then, as Steele said, whatever you have to deal with later on in life, people are not going to fool you, which they will. If you're not able to grasp concepts, ideas, and words, people can take advantage of you, and you won't know what you're signing. And by the time you do sign and find out that you owe a debt, it's a little too late then. So, and I emphasize this also to those of you who have children, nieces, nephews, grandchildren. Implore them to read. It's all right to read what's on your phone, but in my hands, it feels good to have a book. I just love the idea of turning pages, making notes in the margin, highlighting certain little things. There's no greater feeling for me when it comes to intellectual development than reading from a book. I even got a book, it's a free book too from the library. It was a book that was written by Jesse Jackson. Oh. Yes. Okay. So I consider that a great strike right there.
Well, was this when he ran for president, or was it about that?
Actually,
his life,
since I had 16 books, I only just glanced at the back cover. I haven't had a chance to read them. I've only had them, say, 48 hours.
Oh, okay.
But it was no way I would turn it away. I've got books, Colin Powell, Barack Obama, just a lot of different books that, we must take advantage of that. And when we get into a discussion with someone, we don't have to get into it with a lack of knowledge. A lot of people, I'll just use this term, front about what they know, and then when you confront them about what they know, you find out they don't know what they thought they knew. which is even worse. It's even more embarrassing to, let's say, put up a ideal position that you can't even support. So everyone read. And speaking of reading, we're going to show you this book here, and we're going to go to a break momentarily.
All right.
This is The Many Adventures of These Nuts, and that's with a Z. And this is the author is Christopher Broughton, who happens to be the son of our host, Theo Broughton. We're going to talk about this a little bit more, but here's an excellent book for your children. It will help them to understand the importance of hygiene, working together, and what we deal with in terms of COVID. So we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but since we're talking about books, I had to just show this to you because this is going to be another focal point. And you all should have this. I think it's good. I've read it myself, and I think it's good for adults as well as children. Because adults don't know everything either.
Right. And you know, at the end of the show, what I always say, it's not necessary for you to know everything. But what is necessary is for you to know how to find what you need when you need it. And we at Hood Research seek out as much information as we can to share with you and encourage you to share with us to help us all make better informed decisions. And Flip, we will be back momentarily.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
This is Theo Broughton from Feedback. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
It's the These Nuts Show with your host, Butter and friends. Butter here, magician escape artist, practicing for my show tonight. Come on in, have a seat.
Everybody settle, Butter, you're on in 5, 4, 3, 2.
In a few seconds, you gotta be enough to get out of this one. Twist a little turn, ta-da! It's showtime. It's your old friend Butter here. I may be a nut, but I know to wear my mask. Please welcome my first guest tonight, fitness guru, Wally Wallman.
Wally Wallman here to tell you to wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds so you will stay healthy and strong like me.
Almond Cruz here, sliding in with the news. Distance is what we must do to stay away from the chew and other germs in the air that might be trying to get on you. Social distancing is a wonderful way to see friends. As long as you're 6 feet apart, you win.
Hey there, friends. I wouldn't miss this for the world. It's me, Pumpkin Spice, your healthy girl. Remember, it's important to use your kind hearts and follow the signs to stay healthy and safe at all times.
Chica Chimitzky here to say, don't forget the little ones that need you to lead the way. That's how we remember to wash our hands, mask, and social distance today.
Morgan Raisin. Yes, it's me, here to sing about health and safety. We are all here to help get a message out to your grapevine, teaching healthy choices to stay safe all the time.
Don't let these guys drive you nuts. Put your mask on first. They'll let you be. And it keeps me safe from the
chew
that's trying to get on me.
Butter me up. She's right, you know. Thank you, Hallie Cranberry, for joining the show. Let's all be nuts about our health. Social distancing, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and wear a mask. Practice what we learned to stay away from the chew germ. We're all in this together. Coming soon, the many adventures of these nuts in a theater near you.
This is Bruce Simpson, your City of Detroit Ombudsman. I am here to address all of your complaints and concerns. If you need assistance regarding city services, please contact my office at 313-224-6000 or contact us via email at ombudsman@detroitmi.org. detroit.gov. This is Bruce Simpson, your City of Detroit Ombudsman.
I've always been a runner, but I've never run from anything, and neither has my city.
Do you want to be a Detroit police officer?
Sir, yes, sir!
Amen!
It's something special to protect the people closest to you, the ones you've known all your life, your neighbors, your friends. I was born in this city, and I'm not going anywhere. This is my home. That's why I wear the shield.
Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am Thabiti Mpinda,
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for feedback.
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV. Watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Along with you. Oh, I like the way that sounds. And you know, you can do that by going to the App Store and downloading WHPR-TVNOW. When you go to the App Store, you know, those of you all have those fancy telephones. You can download that in the app from the App Store, and of course, indeed, you can take us along with you. That is so good. You were.
Yeah, and let us all, Castillo has said this many times, how many of the seniors, elders have received computers, tablets, and such, and we don't use them, or we don't know how to use them, and maybe there's a fear in using them. And I often cite like some of the old movies where we will see someone on a computer and then he hit the wrong switch and then you see sparks and smoke. Well, you don't have to worry about that with these modern ones at all. So don't let it intimidate you, but it is an excellent resource. And as Steele said, take us along with you. That means at any time you can pull up any of the feedback shows we've done over the years on demand. And we've had a wonderful list of guests, celebrities, political figures, people who are academically profound in what they know. And we can never stop our quest for knowledge, because knowledge is the thing that's going to pretty much liberate us. And the lack of knowledge, I guess it says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. Well, we can't afford to, especially with the way things are going now in society. We need to know as much as we can. And I don't say that we shouldn't, and this is why Hood Research has different events like, let's say, looking for black business and such. We do need various forms of entertainment, but we need knowledge as well. We can't let just entertainment be the sole basis, and I know we have to unwind from the cares and worries of the world, but we still have to be in tune with those concerns of the world, because like it or not, they affect us, and we need to be able to deal with it from a position of strength and not ignorance. And again, you can see the numbers are at the bottom of the screen, so if you have your pen and paper handy, record those numbers and keep them not only for this show but all other shows. I have to say this real quick, Theo. I want to give a shout out. As you can see, I have this T-shirt that says, "Are you tired of racism?" Well, I want to thank Mark Cummings for that. He's also the alternate co-host on the feedback program. And I do get interesting looks when I wear the shirt, "Are you tired of racism?" But yeah, we're tired of it. We've been tired of it for over 400 years.
Oh, Lord.
That's a long time.
Yes, and in many of the states in this country, we find that they're trying to send us back and back and back. And we won't go back. We will not go back to the way life was for so many of our ancestors and our parents, for that matter, and the kind of racism that was experienced in this last election. People just couldn't wrap their mind around what was going on. When you have the syndicated media, and by syndicated media, I identify Channel 2, what you call Fox 2, CBS, Channel 4, Channel 7, News and the Free Press. And they did a blackout on the black candidate. They did a blackout on the black community, which we are the majority in this city. And they did a blackout, and still do, as a matter of fact, on our black issues. When you have Jefferson Chalmers area experiencing the kind of sewage backup and the flooding, 2014, 2016, 2021, it's like, doesn't anybody notice that in this syndicated media? Sure, they notice it, but they don't give a rat's ass about the kinds of issues that are going on in our community. So we must share the information. We must engage in social media. And as it refers to the poor little computer that's sitting in the corner crying and saying, take me out of the box, take me, learn how to use me, you got to know that Wayne County Community College has free computer classes for all who are 60 years of age and older. 60 years of age and older. They have introduction to computers. They have learning the internet. That's the second class. And then they have a more advanced class. But you can get that at Wayne County Community College. There are 3 campuses inside the city of Detroit, and there are 3 outside. But the 3 inside include the main campus, which is on West 4th Street. There is the Eastern Campus, which is on the corner in I-94 freeway, right across from the city airport. That's the Eastern Campus of Wayne County Community College. And also, they're teaching truck driving. Yes. And we hear from time to time on the news that much of the supplies that need to be delivered to the stores, the hospitals, and all the other areas that need those supplies, they're sitting in their trucks. Many of them are still on the ships, in the docks, in the ocean. And they're not being delivered because there's a shortage of truck drivers.
And the beautiful thing about that is that there's an abundance of positions. There's just not enough employees. And we're going to come to you, caller. And one of the things that say you can start off making $40,000, $50,000 a year. And I have known truck drivers who own their own rig who do, as a matter of fact, one's a sort of a member of the family. You can make over $100,000 a year driving a truck. That, and all you got to do, basically you're sitting on your rump and you're making that kind of money. You just pull up to the dock. They generally have people in whatever business you're going to with forklifts, pallet movers, or whatever. They're going to unload your truck. You go to the little break areas. They got to get yourself a pop, a coffee, a bag of chips or something. As soon as they unload your truck, the transfer clerks close up your truck, and you can be on your way. $100,000 a year driving a truck. There's so many jobs I would have taken, but I already had 2 good jobs, so I couldn't take them all. But I'm just saying that they are out there. Mm-hmm. They don't require a lot of training. And the money you can make, you can not only sustain yourself, but you can sustain a family as well. And for those who don't want to, get a bachelor's, associate's, or master's degree, you can still have a fulfilling life where you're not scuffling, you're not, $15 an hour, they speak about that. and making it the minimum wage and such. But you can make so much money if you just have the ambition, the initiative to want to do something. So we're coming right to you, caller. Hello, could you give us your name and how you're viewing us, please? Hello, caller, could you give us your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Silverado.
What's up?
I'm glad you said truck driver because my son, it was his chauffeur license, and he was driving moving trucks. He drove trucks for the Eastern Market produce. He drives trucks now for FedEx. Not FedEx. Is it? Yeah, it is FedEx. But he be quitting his job because he says they don't pay enough. Do you know they call him back to work whatever he wants, and they pay him more money?
Yeah, now that's leverage right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
But also, I want to bring out, we do need to learn and upgrade ourselves, educate, liberate. I'm just thankful that my son, he teach me in layman's terms how to do work on the computer because I have to do annual certifications. I have to learn how to attach documents and send them to other people's emails for verification purposes. So I'm glad he really teaches really good. But it is important to upgrade and not to be afraid.
Yeah, I think fear is probably our, what did Roosevelt say? There's nothing to fear but fear itself. So we have to get over that.
Yeah.
What we call fear. Fear is the false evidence real.
What is?
Repeat that again, please.
Evidence that's not real, that aren't real.
False evidence appearing real, something like that?
Appearing real, right.
Oh.
I had to think about that, but I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
all right, that's my thought. I'll keep listening, y'all.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, one of the things that has been one of the biggest impediments, and never fear failure, because failure is just a part of the learning process. Once you have made a mistake, that learning experience is something to let you know, well, maybe I shouldn't try it this way. Let me try it another way. But a lot of times we can become our greatest enemies and impediments by not willing to challenge ourselves. But on the opposite side of it, and I can say this for myself personally, when I tackled something I had doubts about, once I conquered it, the smile on my face and the joy within me about saying, wow, I did it, and children, I guess there's that old expression, eureka, now I found it.
Right.
And that becomes a motivation for you to want to do more, because you say, okay, since I've done this, you maybe thought you couldn't do 10 push-ups, you did 10, so now you want to do 15. It's a motivating thing. And we can't wait for external motivation. We have to be self-motivated, because if we wait for someone else, and I'll just give this quick example because it's happened within my family, and I always wondered about, I would have a family member say, well, I'm going to go out walking, I'm going to see if I can get so-and-so to walk with me. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm telling him, I said, well, what if so-and-so don't feel like walking? That means neither one of you are going to benefit from it at all. You have to do it yourself. If so-and-so wants to participate, that's fine. But if not, you have to do it for yourself, because it's you that are going to benefit from it. And so-and-so can look at you and say, wow, you look really fit. And then maybe you can be, and I think this is a great thing, you can be an example for someone else who hesitated about doing something, but now you motivated them. But you have to be self-motivated. You can't wait for it outside, because you'll be waiting until the last day you live. And I don't wait. I do it, and if I have a little uncomfortableness with it, I'll back away from it, but I won't quit. So we can never quit. And just think, if our ancestors had quit, where will we be right now? If they had gave up and said, well, looks like we're just going to be, enslaved for the rest of our lives, then think what would have happened to us. Somebody had to start something to get something going. And so I just hope that all of you, and as Theo said, in terms of the benefits, particularly for our elders, you can go to school for free. You can't beat that. I mean, you cannot beat that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you learn how to use that computer, you can do it online.
Oh, yes. And the computer has replaced the encyclopedia. And some people, are aware of that, and some not. But the interesting thing about, I would say, an electronic encyclopedia is you were saying earlier, that when you're looking up a subject, then sometimes will pop up on your screen that there's another area for additional information or other thoughts you might have, not had when you were looking up your particular subject. And, it's invaluable, really. It just is something that once you get into the world of the internet and see that any of the questions you pose are right there. You just type in the subject and hey, voila, you have a lot of information on that particular subject.
It couldn't really get any easier because I was telling Theo on the way to the show how I was looking at some of the research I did in the past, and something popped up on YouTube which actually enhanced what I had already known and then added to that. It was a supplement to what I've known. And because of the things that you search for, now be aware of this. When you search for certain things, there will be other, what happens basically is that your search history becomes a part of the history of what you're looking at, and it will then direct you to other things that are complements to what you were doing. So you can't really go wrong. And once you get on this sled and you start going, it's just easy to keep sledding and keep going. And I just have to encourage more and more. And some of you know that, and I think, Theo, I'm not sure which one you have, but I think you have, is it either Google or one of those where you can speak into Siri or something?
Mm-hmm, Google. And, Siri is on the telephones.
Okay.
Okay. But Google is a freestanding object that talks back to you. You can even ask for recipes, and it gives the ingredients for the item, and it gives the instruction to prepare the item. So if there's something that you always wanted to try, you can use Google to do that. And they aren't really that expensive. As a matter of fact, the research gave some out as prizes at one of our meetings. And I'm looking for the day that we can get back to our indoor meetings, because they were really a lot of fun. And we always had raffles. What's the research without a raffle, So anyway, the kinds of things that we have been looking forward to have been outdoor activities. And let's see. Well, the most recent one we did, we collaborated with Barton McFarland Neighborhood Block Club Association, and we gave a hayride for the children at the elementary school. And of course, that's outside. The branch, which is a black-owned ranch, brought the hay in the wagon with the horses, and they also brought 2 additional horses to Beatty, and the older kids are like, well, I don't know, I want to get up on the horse. So the ones who were brave did get an opportunity to get up on the horse and ride the horse around the track. Of course, the ranchers, have to monitor that, because you don't want any accidents or anything. But they had a fantastic time. It was outside, and it was 63 degrees that day. And we wanted to do it the Friday before Halloween, but it rained and it rained. We thought it would never stop raining. But we did go to the school that Friday before Halloween, and Tawana Morris was the magician, and she did card tricks, and the little kids are like, "Oh, let me do that! I can do that!" I mean, they were just so excited, and the outside event prior to that we did was a motorcade, caravan, whichever you want to call it. And the reason that's a good experience is because each one is in their own vehicle. So you can participate and be safe and just still come. And we would culminate at Bert's Marketplace restaurant because, as most people know, Bert has had an outdoor patio for decades. That's one of the things he's known for. So we took the motorcade down there, and most of the people stayed and they sat outside and enjoyed the weather and the breeze and all of that. And it's a lot of fun, and it just really is, because we have so many people who have cabin fever, and some people are, bored. Some folks are angry because the governor had shut down so many of our businesses, and to be able to come together in that manner gave them an opportunity to get out. And some people having anxiety challenges, and so what we did has made a difference. I believe that has made a difference.
And interaction is so important. One of the things, which is a trait of many African nations, particularly in the past, was an idea of communalism. We looked at, that's why the term, it takes a village. We worked then as a group. Everything was for the group, not for the individual. The Western way of dealing with things now is individualism. Everybody go for yourself, and if you have to step on somebody to get there, that's all right, get yours. But in the traditional African communities, not only that, but I can say Native American and many of the Aboriginal societies on the planet have always worked as communities. They didn't work against each other, they worked with each other. So as Theo's saying, with the motorcade and with the hayride, we're dealing with interaction, and I think the most important thing for us as a people, because we have been poisoned against each other in the way we think sometimes, and we'll look at each other negatively, we have to take another look and say, well, let's not bring that baggage with us. We're only strangers until we get to know each other. And once we get to know each other, then we can build the bonds, the bridges, and the things that we need to move forward. But as long as society, I mean, it's intentional, there's no doubt about it, has pitted us against each other, then we work against each other. So, the greatest example I can think of now is that we have over $1.2 trillion. They just passed, or I guess President Biden's going to sign $1 trillion plus infrastructure bill.
Sometime today.
And we have over $1.2 trillion in disposable income. But if we're wasting it on Gucci and Hennessy and these cars and all this material stuff that depreciates the moment you walk out of the store or drive off the lot, is losing value. If we were just able to take 500 billion of that 1.2 trillion, just imagine what we would have and what we could do, and what we could do for our community in terms of employment. So we got to get out of that mindset that they planted in us, that you can't trust another brother, can't trust another sister, because you will give an Arab, a Caucasian, whomever, another chance. With our people, it's one strike and you're out. You usually get 3 strikes in baseball. We just get 1 strike and the game is over. So I would say, again, as Theo was saying with the motorcade and everybody getting together at Bert's, and I've gone there a number of times. I have to admit, the outside patio is a wonderful thing. We get there, we are able to socialize with each other, and we can smile at each other's happiness as well. We don't have to know, oh, so-and-so think they look so good and this and that. Drop all of that. Just drop it, squash it. Just be happy for somebody else instead of having the other attitude, and we'll do a lot better.
That's right. And I was going to share, I don't want to forget this, the third campus for Wayne County Community College on the west side is on Outer Drive and the Southfield Freeway. And the campus has ample parking, but just remember, you're 60 years age or older, you can take many of the free classes at Wayne County Community College. The number there is 313-496-2600. Once again, it's 313-496-2600. So you can get additional information that way.
Yeah, and I will say that for myself personally, I've taken advantage of it. I've attended all three Detroit campuses, downtown, northwest, and on the east side, as well as one outside of Detroit, where I learned how to work on lawnmowers. I have to say, it was a fascinating class too, Theo. You bring your own lawnmower there.
Oh.
Now, I had thought about it originally as, I said, well, retire, you can make money on the side. Well, really, I went there just because I wanted to fix my lawnmower, but just the knowledge that I gained, because had I not taken that class, I would have had to pay somebody $100, maybe $150 to do the same thing that all I had to do was spend $20 on parts and do myself. So seniors, as Steele said, some of you have cabin fever, you can be bored, and we're getting ready to go into the winter season, so that means outdoor activities are going to be at a minimum. You can take a class and just personal development. They have a lot of classes are just for personal development. And we're approaching the top of the hour. So, again, I ask you to have your pen and paper handy, because Theo gave some numbers out. I gave a website for those who are interested in getting in skilled trades. Write that down. If it doesn't do you any good, it may do someone some good. We all know somebody who needs help.
Yes, and you can pass that information on to them. And you've been tuned into feedback, and we have another half an hour to go. But we have to stop at the top of the hour for a station identification. So we want you to stay tuned, and we will be back momentarily.
WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
FM 88.1 WHPR, Highland Park. WVIE 107.3 FM Charlotte, Amalia, Virgin Islands.
The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors. You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
Hi, this is Thabiti Mpinda from the Feedback Program. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
Hey there, it's me, Butter, with my new book, The Many Adventures of These Nuts. Let's be nuts about our health. Join me and my friends, Wally Walnut, Almond Cruz, Pumpkin Spice, Chica Cheminsky, Morgan Raisin, and Hallie Cranberry, here with rhythm and song to share a fun way to stay safe and healthy. So together we can all be nuts about our health. Ebook available now on Amazon, or get a hardcover copy at www.thesenutstrailmix.com. That's nuts with a Z.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am Thabiti Mpinda.
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for feedback.
a Positive Image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback. And remember, take us along with you. When you go to the App Store and just download WHPR TV now, whew, that's a good thing. You know, before we get into the book that's good for both children and adults, I just want to give you something to think about. There are two trials taking place. One trial of the McMichaels, who hunted and killed the young man who was jogging. And then there's the other trial of Cal Rittenhouse, who shot and killed two men and wanted a third. Now think about this. Today, I'm told, is the beginning of hunting season. And I am of the opinion that those three men in Georgia went hunting. Probably something they always wanted to do. They went hunting and they murdered the young man who was minding his own business, who was just jogging. They went hunting. Now, with that trial, it is the trial of the McMichaels, not the young man. He's deceased. The other trial in Kenosha, Wisconsin, is about a young man whom I believe was going through an initiation. Just think about that. One set was hunting in Georgia, and this young man who was driven by his mother, you know, most people think of mothers as loving and nurturing, and they teach the children about respect and about morals and all those wonderful things. But this mother drove Cal Rittenhouse, that's her son's name, with a rifle. They say it's an AR-15, which is basically a modern machine gun. You can't hide it under a trench coat. He wasn't even wearing a trench coat. Somehow I'm of the opinion that his mother knew he had the gun. She drove him to another state, Kenosha, Wisconsin. Wonder why she would do that, knowing he had a gun. So then all of a sudden, I thought about a movie that I saw some years ago. And I was thinking of all the stars in it. Angela Lansbury played the mother. Lawrence Harvey played her son, whom she had brainwashed. He went through a long brainwashing to become a killing machine. And his charge was to kill the president. But her own son, she was a part of it. She knew. She wanted it to be done. And her son was brainwashed. James Edwards was in it. James Edwards kept having nightmares about seeing this killing, but he couldn't quite understand how it fit. Frank Sinatra was in it, and they were friends, so he ended up calling him and trying to explain what was going on. But Lawrence Harvey was the star of the movie. He was the killing machine. And it occurred to me, and I began to think that this mother may be a part of a clan or some gang or vigilantes, etc. And her son was going through an initiation. Had anybody thought about that? How could she drive her son to Kenosha, Wisconsin? Besides, he wasn't even legal age. He was 17, they tell us.
Right.
17.
17, yes.
Right. So it seems that what she did was very intentional. And my question is, why isn't she on trial also?
Well, we heard this expression, white privilege, and I know she's made comments about, and we'll come to you, caller, she's made comments about what he needed for self-defense. Number one, it wasn't happening in his state, as you say. They crossed state lines. She knew he had a rifle because that's a large rifle, AR-15. There's no hiding that at all. It's not a handgun on any level, and it's much bigger than even a shotgun or a rifle. This is a Army grade, military grade rifle. So she knew that he had the gun. She let him go, and supposedly he's protecting property for somebody in a state that he doesn't even live in.
And didn't even know the man that owned the property.
And I can only use the initials, but it's a lot of BS as far as I'm concerned. And now, and then he sat up there with these fake 8 tears, acting because he couldn't get a tear out. All he could do was frown his face up. He was doing everything he could to get a tear out. Couldn't get a tear out for nothing. And the judge prejudiced the case by saying that you couldn't refer to the victims as protesters. You had to refer to them as rioters. So therefore, that slants the jury's opinion. And they say that they couldn't use a certain term against Kyle because, well, the judge, it was obvious, but we know this is through the American judicial system. The judge is just as much a racist as Kyle Rittenhouse was. We're going to come to this caller, and we'll get back to that.
Okay.
Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Listen, Detroit City Council approved new toll law.
They approved new what?
Toll law.
Towing?
Yeah, it says toll law.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it says all forms of payment must be accepted. Tolls must be requested, and proof of toll documents must be provided upon request. Toll must be stopped if owner arrives before the vehicle is moved. You may qualify for a hardship fee waiver if you feel you have been a victim of predatory towing. Call 313-596-8832.
596-8832.
Yes,
if you've been a victim of the towing scheme, you know, I'm glad that you shared that. I only disagree with one thing. It said provide a receipt if requested. They should provide a receipt requested or not requested, because some people will be there and they get somewhere else and say, I forgot to get a receipt, you know. But everybody needs to ask for a receipt.
Okay, because they're accepting all forms of payment. So definitely get your receipt. That's non-frank with me. Okay,
okay, that is wonderful. That definitely, there's a start. I hope they come up with some additional things. Now that telephone number again.
313 596 8832.
Okay.
Now, is that a city department, or did they express whether that's a city department?
It's a police department.
Police, okay.
Well, they said the city council approved new toll law.
Right. That 596 is police departments.
Okay.
And 596-88 was it?
32.
32. Okay. I'm very glad that you called back to tell us that. Very glad. Yeah.
Next episode.
All right, next episode.
Thanks, Sliso. I'm glad that they did that also, and it's unfortunate all the people who have suffered under that, who will not get any remuneration at all. But I guess it's a step in the right direction. And then, with the police officers that were involved, some of the city council members that were involved, unfortunately, it's just an incredible racket that's been going on for so long, and it makes me wonder what other rackets are going on that the citizens end up being the ones who are penalized for certain things. And you're dealing with a city where, let's just say, the average income does not, we don't have the income in the city of Detroit that allows us to be able to pay these exorbitant tickets, fines, and fees. This is just crazy. It's absolutely insane. And I would hope that this would galvanize some people, because it's so hard for us to galvanize people to vote and to do certain things that are in our own best interest. But it's absolutely necessary, because each one of us, if we weren't victimized by some unscrupulous behavior by either the politicians or certain police, because not all of them are bad, I have them in my family, but all of us have either been victimized or know someone who's been victimized, and we just go along and say, well, I guess there's that old expression, Theo. We've heard this over years. I haven't heard it lately. You can't fight City Hall.
Oh, yeah.
I think we need to fight anyway.
We need to fight City Hall, most definitely. Oh, yes. And there was the other FBI number that I gave, because they just were doing some very dastardly things, like your car's missing when you come out, and they give you this nondescript location where you go to get your vehicle, and they don't give you a receipt, and they insist that you pay cash. That's unacceptable. I was telling people to call 965-2323, which is the FBI.
Repeat that again for me.
313.
Okay.
965 2323.
2323. Okay.
Right. So, getting back to some lighthearted stuff, because we're getting to the end of the show. There is a book that's out, a book to encourage our young people to want to read, to want to enjoy it, and to want to learn at the same time. And it was These Nuts Trail Mix. The title of the book is what?
The Many Adventures of These Nuts.
NUTZ. Okay.
And I have it where those of you who are viewing us can actually see it. I'll just let it sit as a prop for the show. And one of the things that's important, not only because it's teaching children, and I say adults can enjoy this as well, because there's a lot of things we can learn, but one of the things that's nice about it also is that when you read, you increase your vocabulary. Not only do you increase your knowledge, but you increase your vocabulary. So when you get in certain situations and people are talking with you, you have a chance to understand, because I have been around people, Theo, who, because they had some academic background, tried to throw those multi-syllable words at you. And, of course, in many cases, they might go over your head, but that was just some sort of egotistic way of saying, I'm smart, but you're not communicating if a person doesn't understand.
I understand what you're saying. What is his name? The gentleman who uses a whole dictionary when he talks.
Michael Eric
Dyson. He's from Detroit. Michael Eric Dyson, boy, I tell you, he just enjoys himself. Oh,
I don't think he can help it, honestly. It's such a second nature to him.
Now, he's been doing this so long. Oh, man, but to listen to him.
And one of the things about that, too, now I have, I read a lot, so I know some words, but when you start putting 3 or 4 of those multi-syllable words in one sentence, I can pick one word out and say, okay, the context of this sentence with that particular word, I can figure it out. But when you get 3 or 4 within that sentence structure, I'm lost. I have to, and people turn away from that too. I notice now, and I have to say this interestingly, one of our greatest civil rights leaders, Martin Luther King would bring, he was a poet as well, I would say, because his words were very poetical. It was a poetical type of prose. But Martin Luther King used some big words. And I don't think everybody in the congregation grasped it, but the passion with which he said things endeared him to people, and they knew that his struggle, the words that he spoke was part of the struggle that they were experiencing. But he couldn't help either the fact that he had such a large, vast vocabulary, and we know that he had a doctorate, whereas someone like Malcolm X, who also had an incredible vocabulary, but he had a street language as well, because, and this is just for some of you who may not know the background of Malcolm X, when he was in prison in Boston, he read the dictionary from front to back. So that's what gave him an enormous vocabulary, and he was able to speak with world leaders all over the planet because of his vocabulary and his teachings. So I say that because this book here, The Many Adventures of These Nuts, not only does it speak on a, I guess what we call a standard speaking or colloquial level, but it also has terminology that will elevate you. And don't be afraid to pick up your dictionary. If you got a phone, you can just type in a word that you don't know and get the explanation, because outside of reading, understanding is the better part of it all. You have to comprehend what you're reading, or you won't be able to share it with someone else. You'll confuse them as you're confused yourself. This is an excellent book. Now, Theo, how would they go about acquiring this book?
Well, there is a website which is under These Nuts, N-U-T-Z, trailmix.com. These Nuts, trailmix.com. Or you can go online and pull it up, order it through Amazon. So those are two ways. In the meantime, the persons with the company are working to get the book into like the local bookstores and all. That's what's been going on. And last year, of course, it made it difficult for a lot of promotions because of the businesses that were closed down. So they're kind of gearing up now once again to promote it. And you read a couple of lines or any,
Yes, yeah, let me whet your appetite with this. Okay. Now, and another thing I want to say just prior to reading is that it has 7 characters in here. And one of the things that's easy for children to be able to relate to are characters. And each character happens to be a healthy item for eating as well. Almonds, cranberries, peanuts, etc. So I'm going to read, I'll just start from the beginning. That's the best place to start. Okay. Now, okay. I wish I could show you while I'm reading, but Butter here, magician, escape artist, practicing for the show tonight. Come on in, grab a seat. We're going to have lots of fun with my friends that you will meet. It's also written in a poetical form, which is also easy for a person to remember as well. The camera's almost ready. The lights are on. Time to settle in your seat. We're almost on. Butter, you're in 5, 4, 3, 2. The music begins, and I'm ready to start the show. Don't blink your eyes. Here we go.
And Butter is a peanut.
Yeah.
It's
Peanut,
not an
butter. And each one of these characters, I have to say, is a play on words, so there's genius behind this writing as well. It was well thought out. Whoosh, wish, wash, whiz faster than a tornado wind with a flash. A ping, pop, and poof. Ta-da, amazing. I am out. Let's begin. And you can see some of the, because there's pictures on one side that correspond with the written content on the other side. I'll read a couple of more pages for you, but then no more, because you'll have to get the book and then explore. That's my rhyme.
All right. Hey.
Welcome to the show. I may be a nut, but I know to wear a mask to protect you and me. This is so I can escape the germs that are trying to find me. Boom, boom. I hear my first guest. He is here for you to meet. Please welcome Wally Walnut, the fitness guru, with a treat. Now, that's the treat. I read to you the beginnings of what will be, I think, very enjoyable. And as you take note of what I said, he's emphasizing hygiene, health, and it's done in a very poetical and prose-like way. And I think it's just good. It's a great book. I have one. I've shared it with my granddaughter because she's a teenager now. But we have to do what we can and in whatever way we can to encourage the youth to read. So with these 7 characters, and you see them during the breaks that we have on the show, you see, and yours truly sitting next to me happens to be one of the character voices. She is Hallie Cranberry.
Oh, goodness.
And it's just an excellent way for your child to become engaged. We know that children are into colorful things, which is why crayons are the first things they get into in kindergarten. But this is an excellent book. It teaches not only how to work with others, but it teaches you about hygiene, because as you may recall when I read, it said make sure you wear your mask. And further in the book, it gives other things. So again, Thea, you can give them the details to acquiring it.
The website is TheseNutsTrailMix.com. And it talks about trail mix because Christopher carries trail mix with him. He drives, a lot, and he'll have it in the vehicle. So in buying trail mix, he says, Mama, I don't particularly like the mixture. So he went to one of those bulk stores, where they sell all kind of things in bulk, walnuts and oats and sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, etc. And picked out the items that made an enjoyable mixture that he likes. So he started out making his own trail mix. And as we got more and more into the pandemic, he called one day and he says, Mom, I says, what? He said, they're not talking to the children. I said, who's not talking to the children? He said, we have all of this conversation about wearing your mask, washing your hands, doing your distancing. He said, but they're not talking to the children. I said, I think you're right. I hadn't noticed it originally, but you're right. So we finished our conversation. Next thing I know, he calls me back and has created a cartoon character for each of the 7 ingredients in his trail mix that he created for himself. And from creating the characters, then he decided to write a book to address the children. If you've noticed, it's only recently that there's been conversation about a vaccination for children 5 years and older, And he was encouraging and is still encouraging young people to wash their hands, watch their distance, wear their mask, etc. And the book is being well received, and the children like it also. And the next thing is he's working on a cartoon story, so you got to look forward to that as well. But he's very serious about what he's doing, very concerned about how our young people were not being addressed, not being treated during this pandemic.
And I want to add that not only is the book great, but the trail mix as well, which I've enjoyed. And why I bring that up is because we're too quick to pick up popcorn, potato chips, cheese twists. None of this stuff has any nutritional value. I mean, it has a nice taste, but, if you put the same flavor on a piece of cardboard, people would eat that because of the taste. Here we're talking about cranberries, raisins, peanuts, walnuts, which is almonds, which is a brain food. Walnuts are good for your lung. I won't get into the deeper details of it, but just to say that it's the excellent snack. If your child or yourself have to snack on something, do it something healthy.
And pumpkin seeds.
Yeah, which has zinc in it. And men, you need zinc. I'll just leave it at that. We all need it, but men need it a little bit more than women, and women need cranberries a little bit more than men.
Yeah, so he's included all of that in the product itself. So that's a good thing.
We want you to be healthy because as warriors in this struggle, just to survive, the one thing you need more than anything else is the health of your body and the health of your mind. The reading helps the health of your mind, and certainly eating the right things helps the health of your body. And I want all of you to age gracefully, and eating the right things will do that for you.
That's right.
And we're down to like the last 2 minutes of the show, folks. That's how it goes.
Oh, wow. Well, it's been an enjoyable morning, and I thank you all for tuning in to Feedback, a positive image production by Hood Research. And I want to thank Mechanic Mike for joining us this morning as well. And, you know, like I was saying earlier, it's not necessary for you to know everything, but what is necessary for you to know is to find what you need when you need it. And we at Hood Research seek out as much information as we can to share with you. And we encourage you to call in and share with us to help us all make better informed decisions. Maybe.
As Sly Soul shared with us the information on towing and other things, we encourage that with you as well, because every one of us knows something that can help someone else, and that's the way we should do. We should share what we know. We don't hoard our knowledge. We share our knowledge, because then we all come up with it. And as I always say at the end of every show, if you want to be nothing, do nothing. But the only problem with doing nothing is you never know when you're finished. And we invite you to join Hood Research Feedback next Monday at 9 a.m. And make sure you have your pen and paper handy, and, you know, a cup of hot chocolate if it's cold, and some hot coffee or something.
Ooh, sounds good.
And sit back and actually become engaged in the conversation with us.
That's right. And on a Saturday afternoon, you're invited to an afternoon with Hood Research by conference. And the numbers, if you follow us on Twitter and our Facebook, the numbers are there. But for those of you who have pen and paper handy, you dial on Saturday. We start at 3 p.m. Each Saturday. And the numbers are 1-978-990-5000. The access code is 338729. Press the pound key and join us. And we are waiting for a call, a confirmation from Jay Butler. And for those of you who remember Jay Butler, he's a blues DJ, and he was on with Martha Jean, the Queen. So that's what we're hoping for next Saturday, which would be the 20th. Yeah, right.
You're good at it. I'm not. I follow Theo's lead. I just want to let y'all know that.
So the 20th, this coming Saturday at 3 p.m. You don't even have to leave your home or your easy chair or your backyard or your bed, whatever. It's so convenient. So, with the last 20 seconds to go, I ask you to follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Join us right here at WHBR each Monday morning at 9 a.m. And thank you so much for being tuned in today. All right. Peace. Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am the BD Impinda.
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback.
a Positive Image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV. Watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you.